small ones up here.
Big one. Dead sticking on the bottom. Not even that big. Decent one. So as you guys can see, the swim bait bite definitely slowed down. We've went back and forth a few times and didn't really whack them like we did this morning. So Matt and I, we both went finesse. He went with the Nico rig. I went with the jig. Still producing quality fish.
That was a largie.
Yeah. Seems like nothing caught it. First one.
Oh, it's a Miranda? This one has a black bait. I didn't know that. That's not fun.
You were in the zone.
Halfway to greatness, right? This is when they bite it. Oh. Got him.
Big old rainbow. Yeah, let's turn this whole thing into a lake.
Yeah. Still current on the outside.
Yeah. Just gonna pull those fish though. I got one. Yeah, like 3 wines before.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, weigh these fish, take some photos. We didn't get any more giants. We've still got plenty of sunlight, but it's 50 miles out of here. So our other buddy showed up, he's up the way. We try and, if at all possible, run out of here in pairs, just so if something goes wrong, there's somebody else to know about it. You gotta be safe when you're running this far through all this wood and debris and everything. But let's weigh these fish and see what we've got. Kicker Tim got this morning. Let's see where we end up here. $6.15. Beautiful fish.
Man, what a morning. That was absolutely epic. I'm glad we got to share that with you guys. Hopefully we got some great footage. You know, we took a big gamble. You know, we ran a long way this morning, went through a lot of hazards. You guys got to see some of those logs, some of those trees were twice the size of this boat, but we left these fish biting, and we were hoping that with some more stable weather that they would chomp again, and boy did they. So want to do a little bit of breakdown of what we were doing, what we were catching them on, what was going through our heads, why we moved out, why we switched baits, those sort of things. So right off the bat, what were you catching them on?
Okay, so to start, we were catching them on this pile of leftover baits. But seriously, to start off, the main thing we've been throwing is the Kitech little paddle tail swim bait. We were throwing on a 1/4 ounce head for the last few days, throwing like a 3.8 or a 4.3, a little bit smaller bait. Just a good package that fits with the smallies, you know, that it doesn't have too big of a hook, it's not too long of a bait, it's easier for them to get in the mouth. And that's what we've been throwing, and that's what we came up here to throw. We caught like 4 or 5 little ones right off the bat, and then it kind of slowed down, and we were hoping to pick up right where we left off with Tim's giant last night, and the fish just did not seem to be up there. So immediately we went to a larger head.
Do you have one handy?
Yeah.
Let me backtrack real quick. You know, you guys can see these baits. They're all missing tails. We were getting short struck quite a bit. But yes, we were fishing shallow, and what we want to explain to you is this lake is coming up 4 feet a day. Yeah. And so it's been kind of a toss-up. Do we stay shallow or keep moving with the water, or do we stay out and fish where the fish were the day before? You know, you're fishing 6 feet the day before, now it's 10 feet, and then 14 feet. So this morning when we were fishing shallow, we knew that the fish weren't up there. We weren't getting bit, so we had to go deeper. Like Matt said, we went to the heavier head. That's that 3/4 ounce.
Right. Yeah, we went to the 3/4 ounce head, a little bit bigger hook, but more importantly, just heavy weight. A little bit bigger bait. I started out with the Bass Tricks. You guys saw that. And we started getting bit on the 6-inch Bass Tricks right away. But quite frankly, the only reason we're not throwing a pile of them is we didn't bring a pile of them. We've only got a couple left. We thought we'd save them for the evening session. So we immediately went back, started throwing a 4.8 Kitech. Just a slightly larger profile Kitech. And they just got on it right away. And there were a couple of things that the 3/4 allowed us to do. One, we could fish deeper, but 2, and probably more importantly, is we could fish fast.
Right.
Exactly. We were holding depth at a much higher speed. And something that might surprise you is when this stuff starts happening, when you start getting tails bit off, immediately what most people think is, I need to slow down. I'm taking it away from the fish. They're just trying to catch up to it and get a look at it. And I'm taking it away from them. If they're small fish, that might be true. You might be going so fast that they can't get their mouth all the way around it. But if they're good fish, typically that means you're giving them too good of a look at it. So they're getting up on it They're coming alongside
and having a taste.
So by going to a heavier head and really speeding up that retrieve, they either need to massacre that thing or let it go.
Makes them commit.
Exactly. So we still got a few short strikes. We still got tails bit off, but the big ones started choking it, and they weren't coming off. Well, except for the one I lost. Other than that, they weren't coming up. Tim's weren't coming off. But seriously, it made a big difference to be able to speed up that retrieve and get those fish to run harder to catch up to that bait and really choke it.
Yeah, this morning I was kind of in a situation because I've been throwing that 1/4 ounce as well, and I've been throwing on a lot lighter rod. And once we realized the fish were deeper, we needed to speed up our retrieve, I need to go to that 3/4 head, I didn't really have anything to throw it except for a 7-Eleven flipping stick. So don't do what I do. Don't boat flip big smallies. That was just needed a heavy rod to be able to throw that bait, to get it down there, and it did the trick. But it's definitely not the perfect rod for the situation.
Right.
My elbow is definitely hurting, but
right, we're like 1,100 miles from home or 1,200 miles from home. I don't know. So we have a limited selection, and we really didn't know what we were getting into. We didn't know we were going to be burning 3/4 ounce head, so we really didn't bring the gear for it. But after throwing that, you guys probably noticed I switched over to a crankbait. We were just trying to keep the fish active, keep them aggressive, keep them biting. So I went to a little Mega Bass. It's a Mega Bass, the Deep X 300. They have that whole Deep X series. Really good smallmouth baits. Got a couple of key bites on that. But then I started noticing, for the most part, it was getting smaller fish. It got a couple really good ones, but for the most part, even off camera, we caught some little rats on it. So then I went to a Strike King 6XD. Oh, that line's a little tore up. Might be time for a retie. But that 6XD, again, I was able to get a little bit deeper and maintain a really high speed. And then it seemed to be that stop and go retrieve. Anytime that bait would pause is when they would catch up and really smash it. And if they missed, you could just start burning again and they'd run after it again. But that definitely seemed to step up the size a little bit as well. So just a 1-2 punch, playing that swim bait, playing the crankbait, just keeping that school of fish going as long as we could before they kind of tapered off going into midday. And then midday, on this particular fishery right now, there seems to be a big lull midday. I mean, you can see, I don't know what time it is right now. It's like 1 or 2 o'clock or something, but it's slick, calm, warm. The water clarity is actually better than it was yesterday. By all appearances, it looks like our flows are slowing down. So we're fishing snow runoff. We told you when Tim got his 7, we told you that water was 44 degrees. Today it's 43 degrees, or it was this morning. Now it's starting to climb, and it seems like we came out of a storm. So it seems like maybe that snow melt kind of tapered off with the storm, and now that's arriving here. But with this high sun, I'm guessing by this evening, flows will be back up where that snow is melting and running off the mountains. We'll probably start seeing that really cold water again, hopefully get those fish schooled back up. We did throw some finesse stuff.
Yeah, it's we're fishing pretty clear water, 8 to 10 foot of visibility. One thing that I wanted to touch on that Matt kind of touched on a little bit, you know, we're 2 guys, we're each fishing different baits. So if you are fishing by yourself, it's very important to give them a different look, to switch up the baits, continue to keep that school fired up and rotate through those baits. You know, he was throwing the crankbait, I was throwing the swim bait. He'd catch them, I'd catch them, I wouldn't catch them, he'd catch them, and vice versa. So it's important to continue to rotate through those baits and keep those fish active and maximize the time when they're chewing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then midday, when it got really slow, we switched. I mean, we'll just cover it quick, but we switched to I went to a Nico rig and a tube. And like always, we'll give you links to all this stuff down in the video description. There's the tube, 1/4 ounce head, fishing it pretty aggressively, snapping it up. And as soon as you got to the top, they'd pop it when it was up off the bottom. And then you.
Yeah, I just I noticed he was getting some pretty small fish on that, so I went with a little bigger profile. This is 1/2 ounce dirty jigs. Put a little twin tail Yamamoto grub on there, and was just targeting. You know, like I said, we have a lot of pretty deep visibility, pretty good visibility. So I was just targeting that line where you couldn't see bottom anymore, and I got a couple good bites, couple 2.5, 3 pounders.
Yeah, a couple nice fish.
in a time where, you know, we were struggling pretty
dead.
much. Yeah.
I mean,
small
let's
fish.
just call it what it is. Midday is dead. All right, guys, we're getting ready to run back out of here. Absolutely insane day of smallmouth fishing. We haven't totaled up that weight yet. I'm sure some of you guys have, but truly remarkable to go from Tim sticking a 7 yesterday, a new PB, to just smashing a giant bag today. Absolutely amazing fishing. We got a long haul out of here, so we're gonna get going. You ready? Yeah. All right, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your support. We'll talk to you soon.